One of the common challenges that you'll have when you start investing as a beginner is deciding what to invest in. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 steps that you can take to actually decide what to invest in. Now, of course, these steps aren't like the Holy Grail. There's a lot of ways to decide what to invest in the market. However, I think these are 6 steps that will really be useful to you to figuring out your own strategy eventually on how you're gonna buy shares, bonds, commodities, ETFs, whatever it is that you want to buy. So in order to show you these steps, we're going to switch right now to my laptop where I will be showing you these steps. So let's go. So let's have fun with this video. I'm going to be using a couple of tools to sort of show the steps. However, I'm going to be using also a post that I did last year to sort of illustrate the steps that I will be talking about. So you can use the post and the video both at the same time to sort of follow along with some of the things that I will be doing to sort of show how to find shares to invest in. So let's look at the first step. The first step is research people's future needs. It's very simple. People buy things that they need, and so they'll spend money on those things. And you, as a shareholder, a business owner, an entrepreneur, you want to sell people things that they believe they need or want. It's literally that simple to make money. And so when you're an investor, you want to invest in companies that are going to cater for people's future needs, simply because those are the companies that will be making money in the future. And so if you invest today, theoretically, the share prices should increase over time, and then you as a shareholder would be able to sell those shares and make money. So you got to research people's future needs. The easiest way to actually do this, I've learned, is just to use yourself as a person. Ask yourself, what is it that I need? Create a list of those needs. And then at the same time, also ask yourself, what am I interested in as a person? So if you go to, let's say, the Easy Equities platform, once you figured out your needs, you have to ask yourself which industries actually cater to those needs. And you'll see like a long list of industry categories like listed here on Easy Equities. And so you can sort of go through these to find companies. So let's say maybe you're interested in life insurance. You click on life insurance and you see life insurance. So people need insurance. Maybe figure out that people need commodities that come from miners, and so you go through a list of miners, and you'll probably then eventually analyze the shares. But before we get to that, we have to understand certain aspects of human needs. So once you have found industries that cater to those needs, you'll then ask yourself the simple question of, are these industries growing? Where are these industries going? Are they still actually going to be around in the future? Because not all industries that cater to needs will actually survive the future. There was a point in time where people read like newspapers a lot, and that was a booming, like, great industry to be in. But these days, newspaper companies, as much as they're still around, they've actually changed to different types of media companies. So like a lot of newspaper companies are not around, even though they cater to a very fundamental need, which is information. So you gotta just be aware of that. So for the purposes of this post, or for this video, I'm gonna use fashion. I'm not a big fashion person, but I sort of like fashion, and fashion is like a need actually for people. And why do people need fashion? All right. So let's go to Google. So we ask Google the question: do humans need clothes? And Wikipedia spins out something saying clothing can insulate against cold or hot conditions, and it can provide a hygienic barrier, keeping infections and toxic materials away from the body. So basically, clothes are like a form of shelter that we use, to sort of protect ourselves from the various elements that can actually harm us when we move around the world, or when we even just sleeping. So that's what clothes are used for. So theoretically, I don't think there'll ever come a time where humans don't wear clothes. I think clothes will always be something that we do need to some degree, meaning there's an actual scientific reason why Louis Vuitton and Dolce & Gabbana exist, meaning there's a scientific reason for why a whole lot of clothing companies exist. And so to do further research on this, I would probably Google a little bit more, and then I'd go to other various data sources that I do know that I'm not going to share in this video. Another thing I might do is use like a website like Reuters, to find out if I can read more about the clothing industry or apparel as it's known. And then I would go back to Easy Equities once I found a company and make the investment. But before doing that, let's look at actually the industries that are available in South Africa. So you've now figured out human needs, clothing. You're going to scroll down and find like industries that are associated with clothes. It could be manufacturers as well, and not just apparel companies. But I'm gonna stick with apparel companies. Even wholesale distributors maybe might be involved in the clothing space. So after I click apparel and footwear, I then get led to this lovely list here. I can see now the industry itself. So industry, apparel, footwear. There's 5 shares in this industry. All of them put together are valued at 183 billion rands, and about 403,000 shares are traded on average. And I can see the change so far today is negative 0.7%, meaning if you owned all the shares in this industry, well, if you had the shares in your basket, you'd see those shares collectively dropped by 0.68%, even though some of them probably might have increased. I can see the performance for the month is plus 4.5%. So, or put together, if you bought all these shares, your portfolio would be up 4.56% within that segment, not your whole portfolio, but within that segment. And then performance for the year. So since last year, April, the shares are up 17%, and the performance since the beginning of the year. So performance YTD year to date, the shares are up 13%. And I can see the shares that are here is African over ENT. I know they run Queen's Park, but I'm not really familiar with that company, so I wouldn't even bother really doing a lot of research on them. And then I can see Mr. Price, the Foschini Group, Truworths, and Woolworths Holding. You know, I'm sure most of us know these other companies as well. And so here, this is where you have to pick like maybe the best company within the industry that you think will best cater to the human needs in the future. So humans need clothes, and one of these companies or two of these companies will still be around in the future giving people clothes. My prediction, because of the way South Africa's social economic structure is like, Mr. Price is one of those companies that I believe would still be around. So I would click there and then get to see Mr. Price. But before actually looking at, say, Mr. Price's charts, what I want to do is actually research more about the company. So the first place I'd start is actually Mr. Price's own website, where I get to read a lot of news about Mr. Price. I can see recently Mr. Price acquired a controlling stake in Studio 88 Group. So these are the guys that own Studio 88. I've never bought anything from there, but I think some of their clothes are probably cool. I've seen them in shopping centers and malls. And they give a reason why they've bought Studio 88, but you know, that's not what we're analyzing. What we want to analyze is basically the company. Is it growing? Is it making money? Are shareholders year on year happy with this company? And is the share price growing? That's the thing that we want to find out. And is the company actually making money, etc. So we'd use a whole lot of the reports that are found on the website. You know, so every company that's listed has something called an investor relations portal. And for Mr. Price, you just go to mrpricegroup.com and then you click on investors and you'll get like a whole lot of information. One of the important things that you actually should do whenever you invest in a company is to actually do this, but also learn about the company. So if I click the about, I then get led to this page. And this is where Mr. Price sort of gives like an investment case. They're basically telling you why you should invest in this company, why they think you should invest in this company. They give some key things like cash-based, omni-channel, meaning they've got a lot of sales points, and fashion value retailer. And fashion value always thrives better than, like, say, other forms of fashion, simply because people can't afford clothes that are like 50, 100,000 or 2 million for something, but they definitely can afford a t-shirt for 90 rands. So that's something just to be aware of. And that's what makes Mr. Price a really strong business. And yeah, they got their journey here, telling you everything about the business, competitive edge. You know, you want to learn all these things because you're going to buy shares and be a part of the company. So you want to know the business. It's always weird to me when people tell me they've bought XYZ shares. I'm like, why did you buy them? And they don't really give a reason that's properly motivated. like to say, this is why I wanted to be a part of this company. This is why I believe in this company. Like, they're just buying shares hoping to make money. It can't work like that. If you're going to buy shares, know about the business that you're actually buying into, because that will help you know if it's a crap business, so you don't buy the shares, or that will help you know that it's a good business, buy the shares, and over time the shares will grow in value. We can see Mr. Price's divisions. Wow, Yappy Chef, okay. Shoot Street, Mr. Price Sports, Milady's, Power, great. Like, these are really good South African businesses. They got some e-commerce as well. You know, they got a whole lot of bragging things that they give about themselves as a business. And so you'd want to learn all this stuff to really know what Mr. Price offers. So these are like the big achievements. Top 30, so JC Responsible Index came in the top 30. They're in the JC top 40. Dividend Plus Index, they're included, and they're the number one ranked most valuable fashion apparel retailer, right? So then they cite where that data is coming from. So Mr. Price seems to be a good business, but just because it's a good business, it doesn't mean that we're going to buy the shares. We know that humans need clothes. We know the industry is apparel. We know that Mr. Price is within that industry. We know right now that they're the best in that industry, and we know that they're a good company and they've got a solid future. South African population is growing, and Mr. Price is probably going to be selling clothes to those people. We know that. However, just because it's a good company doesn't mean we should buy the shares yet. So let's do some price analysis, very basic price analysis. I can see here that Mr. Price shares have been going up and down. One of the things that I would obviously do after just analyzing data from the website is actually to go on TradingView and just look at a more overview picture of the company's financials. I can see they've been reporting earnings pretty well. Income statements don't look that bad at all. Even if I go back to the overview, it doesn't look that bad. You know, sort of drop 2020, not that great, but nonetheless, it's Mr. Price. They're going to continue making money. Cash flow, not that bad at all. Balance sheets, not that bad, you know, and I can do get quite a lot of information here about the company and various other statistics that I can actually use to sort of evaluate the company. But after all of that, it comes down to the share price. As an investor, where I mainly make money is if the share price goes up. So that's what I care about. And so from this point onwards, which is where we are today. So let me just zoom in. What's the date today? Yeah, it's the 21st of April. If I buy the shares here on the 21st of April at a price of 221 Rand, so this is where I'm looking at price, this is where I'm looking at date, and then I'm predicting one of three things is going to happen. The share price is going to go up, the share price is going to go down, or the share price is going to stagnate. I want the share price to go up. And so if I buy these shares, this is what I'm predicting. And as an investor, this is the most important thing for you. You want to predict this. I'm not going to tell you here how to predict if the share price is going to go up. That would just take too long. And of course, that's a secret for paying customers. So you just need to know those are the predictions that you are making with Mr. Price. I can also see, though, that the share price goes up and down quite a bit. I can see, in fact, had I bought the shares on the 6th of December 2021, in order to get from a price of 211 Rands to a price of 220 Rands, I actually would have taken quite a huge hit. First of all, you can see the share price goes down and then goes up. So to just go from here to here, you first went down and then went up. And this is characteristic of shares. Shares don't go up in a straight line. They go down, they go up, they go down, they go up. I can see if I bought here and sold here, to get to that point, it wasn't going to be a straight line. It was actually going to be a bumpy ride, but eventually you make your money. Hence, sometimes staying long-term in the market is quite beneficial. So another thing that I can actually see about Mr. Price shares is their price behavior in a very simple way. Whenever the share price hits around about 190 Rands for the past couple of months, it returns back up. So you can see here's the price on this side. In fact, I'm just going to draw like a little line. I'm trying to keep this video short, so please forgive me if it does seem long, but I'm trying my best here. I can see whenever it hits this line here, the share price bounces back up, which is a very nice indicator that if the price was around about this level here at the bottom, it would be a good time to probably buy, because we know Mr. Price is probably going to be growing in value from that point. We can also see, though, that whenever Mr. Price hits whenever the share price hits a price of round about, say, 239 Rands, the share price comes down, right? So we can see it hit it here, it came back down, went back up, hit it, and then came back down, meaning it probably wouldn't be a good idea to buy the shares at that level, because odds are they're going to come back down. We can also see though that whenever the share price is run about at this level, it also comes back down. So that's about 222 rands. We can see came back down here, it came back down. Even at this level here at 215, it seems to sort of come back down when it hits that level. Meaning if you're somebody who's going to buy these shares, you have to be aware of these points, because you don't want to buy the shares at the wrong price. Yes, it's a good company, but you don't want to buy the shares at a price where there's higher odds of it actually coming down, because then that's when the price is going to come down. Then you're going to need a lot more patience to wait for a reversal in order to make your money. So what I would always say is go check out the price, understand it, and then just be patient enough to sort of see what direction is it going before you actually buy. So let's go back here. We've sort of not used this slide as much as I thought we would, but yeah, create a list of companies based on needs and wants, and then try to predict the future performance of the share, and then invest in the companies from your list. So obviously you would do this not just for clothes, but for other needs like maybe water, food, electricity, energy, transportation, communication, entertainment. There's a lot of things that humans need. You just keep doing this, and obviously choose more than one share in an industry to actually invest in. And then you eventually practice the art of waiting, right? So that's the final step. Practice the art of waiting. Once you've bought the shares, go to your Easy Equities account. Obviously, you're going to search for the shares. Type in Mr. Price, click on them, and go press buy and buy the shares, and then you'll be sorted. So that's how simple it is, guys. Yeah, watch this video all over, but use this post to sort of follow along with the steps and follow along with what I've been saying. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. It's been lovely. It's been a lovely month so far, and I hope everybody's having a good time. Rough times in Durban, but it's all good. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody. Until then, thank you and goodbye.